Before you build your future, remember Machiavelli's warning: every man dreams of building something that lasts. A career, a business, a reputation, a legacy, an empire. But Machiavelli issued a warning that history has proven true again and again. Most men don't lose everything because they aren't talented. They lose everything because they never saw the danger coming. Power doesn't only attract opportunity. It attracts envy. It attracts betrayal. It attracts hidden enemies smiling at your success. The higher you climb, the fewer mistakes you're allowed to make. History is filled with brilliant men who built incredible empires, only to watch them collapse because they ignored one invisible law of human nature. They trusted too easily. They revealed too much. They celebrated too early. Or they believed everyone wanted to see them win. Machiavelli would have called that fatal. Because the moment your life begins to rise, people begin studying you. Some admire you. Some learn from you. Others quietly wait for the perfect moment to benefit from your success. That's why building wealth is only half the battle. Keeping it requires an entirely different mindset. Today, you'll discover 7 warnings from Machiavelli that every ambitious man should understand before he builds his future. These lessons have protected kings, destroyed empires, and can save you from mistakes that cost ordinary men decades of their lives. Welcome. This is Dark Mind Protocol, and this is the mindset of the Silent Strategist. Every ambitious man asks himself the same question: how do I become successful? Very few ask the question that matters even more: how do I keep what I build? Machiavelli believed these were 2 completely different skills. Building attracts attention. Keeping requires wisdom. Imagine 2 men. Both become wealthy. Both earn respect. Both finally reach the position they dreamed about. 5 years later, one has multiplied everything. The other has lost nearly all of it. What happened? Most people blame luck. Machiavelli blamed preparation. Because success changes the people around you. The day you have nothing, everyone ignores you. The day you begin winning, people begin watching. Some become inspired. Others become jealous. A few begin calculating how your success can benefit them. This isn't pessimism. It's human nature. The silent strategist never assumes that success automatically creates loyal friends. He knows success reveals people's true intentions. Notice what happens whenever someone suddenly becomes successful. Old acquaintances reappear. Distant relatives suddenly become interested. Business opportunities appear from nowhere. Compliments become more frequent. Invitations multiply. Everyone seems happy for you. But are they? Or are they responding to the opportunities your success now represents? Machiavelli warned that prosperity attracts both allies and predators. The problem is, they often look exactly the same. That's why intelligent men don't become suspicious of everyone. They become patient. Time exposes motives that appearances cannot. The strategist never rushes relationships simply because life is going well. He watches. He waits. He notices who remains consistent when there's nothing to gain, and who only appears after the rewards become visible. One of the greatest mistakes ambitious men make is confusing admiration with loyalty. Someone may admire your success and still betray you when the opportunity appears. Admiration is emotional. Loyalty is behavioral. Never confuse the two. History proves this lesson repeatedly. Kings were betrayed by their closest advisors, generals by trusted officers, founders by lifelong partners, not because they were weak, but because they believed success had made everyone trustworthy. Success doesn't remove danger. It increases the value of what others can take from you. The silent strategist celebrates every victory, but he never lets success make him careless. Because the strongest walls are built before the attack begins. There is one weakness that destroys more ambitious men than lack of talent: need. The moment people discover what you desperately want, they gain leverage over you. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. The man who cannot walk away is already negotiating from a position of weakness. Think about a job interview. One candidate desperately needs the position. His rent is due. His savings are gone. His confidence depends entirely on getting hired. The other candidate also wants the job, but doesn't need it to survive. Who has more power? Usually, the man who can calmly say no, because desperation leaks. It appears in your voice, your posture, your decisions, even in the speed with which you answer messages. Manipulators have an extraordinary ability to sense emotional dependence. They don't need to ask. They observe. They notice how quickly you agree, how often you seek approval, how uncomfortable you become when someone withdraws attention. The silent strategist protects one thing above all else: his independence. Not because he wants to be alone, but because dependence gives other people the steering wheel of your life. Imagine a businessman negotiating $1 million contract. If the other side knows this deal is his only chance to survive, the negotiation is over before it begins. Pressure replaces strategy. Fear replaces patience. Emotion replaces judgment. This principle extends far beyond business. Relationships, friendships, family, even everyday conversations. The more someone believes you need them, the easier it becomes for them to influence your behavior. That's why Machiavelli admired emotional self-sufficiency. Not coldness, not arrogance. Freedom. Freedom to leave a bad deal. Freedom to reject disrespect. Freedom to wait for a better opportunity. The most respected men are rarely the ones chasing every opportunity. They're the ones who can afford to let the wrong opportunities pass. Ironically, the less you appear desperate for attention, the more people notice you. The less you chase approval, the more respect naturally follows. Because confidence isn't convincing people you have power. Confidence is showing them you don't depend on their permission. The silent strategist never reveals the size of his ambition. He lets his preparation speak louder than his desire. Because once people realize they cannot control your emotions, they lose one of their greatest advantages over you. Most men spend their lives preparing for visible threats. Competitors, critics, open enemies. But Machiavelli feared a different kind of enemy. The one who smiles while quietly measuring your weaknesses. History proves that empires rarely collapse because of attacks from the outside. They collapse because someone on the inside opens the gate. Think about Julius Caesar. He wasn't defeated by a foreign army. He was surrounded by people he believed were loyal. Some had eaten at his table. Some had fought beside him. Some owed everything to him. Yet when the moment came, the greatest danger wasn't standing outside Rome. It stood beside him. The silent strategist never becomes paranoid. He becomes observant. He understands that trust is not built through words. It's built through repeated evidence. One mistake ambitious men often make is believing that time automatically creates loyalty. I've known him for years. She's been with me since the beginning. He would never do that. Machiavelli would ask only one question. What has this person consistently done? Not what have they consistently said. Time doesn't create character. It simply gives character more opportunities to reveal itself. Pay attention to how people respond when your life improves. Some celebrate your victories as if they were their own. Others congratulate you, but something feels different. Their smile is forced. Their curiosity becomes unusually intense. They begin asking questions they never asked before. How much did you make? Who's investing with you? What's your next move? Where are you going next? At first, it feels harmless. Maybe they're just interested. Maybe they're simply being friendly. Sometimes that's true. But the silent strategist has learned something that protects him from unnecessary losses. Not every question deserves an answer. Power is often preserved through selective silence. The more valuable your future becomes, the more carefully you protect information about it. Machiavelli believed that uncertainty creates caution. The less people know about your next move, the fewer opportunities they have to interfere with it. Notice how the strongest players rarely announce every plan. They build quietly, they prepare privately, and they let results make the announcement. That's why the strategist never feels the need to impress people with what he's about to achieve. He would rather surprise them with what he has already accomplished. Because once people know exactly where you're going, some will cheer, others will compete, and a few will quietly try to make sure you never arrive. Real strength isn't just knowing who your enemies are. It's understanding that the most dangerous enemy is often the one who still calls himself your friend. Most men spend years trying to earn more money. Very few spend the same effort protecting their reputation. Machiavelli knew something that modern society often forgets. Money can be lost and earned again. A damaged reputation can follow you for decades. Every great empire in history rested on one invisible foundation: trust. Not blind trust, earned trust, the kind that makes people believe your word carries weight. Once that foundation cracks, everything built on top of it becomes unstable. The silent strategist understands that reputation is not created by one grand gesture. It's built through thousands of small decisions. Showing up when you said you would, keeping promises when nobody is watching, remaining calm when others panic, treating powerful people and powerless people with the same level of respect. These moments seem insignificant until they begin forming the story people tell about you when you aren't in the room. That story is your reputation, and whether you realize it or not, is constantly being written. Many ambitious men destroy years of credibility for a few minutes of emotional satisfaction. One angry outburst, one impulsive decision, one dishonest shortcut, one public argument, one unnecessary betrayal. The reward is temporary. The damage can be permanent. Machiavelli never suggested becoming reckless. He suggested becoming intentional. Every action either strengthens your position or weakens it. Ask yourself this before making any important decision. Will this make future opportunities easier or harder? Because every investor, every employer, every client, every partner, and every leader eventually asks the same question. Can this man be trusted? Not trusted with secrets, trusted with responsibility, trusted with pressure, trusted with success. That form of trust becomes a competitive advantage that money alone cannot buy. Ironically, the men obsessed with looking powerful often destroy their reputation trying to impress people. The truly powerful men rarely need to prove anything. Their consistency speaks for them. The silent strategist knows that reputation compounds exactly like money. Every wise decision becomes another deposit. Every careless decision becomes a withdrawal. Over the years, those small deposits create something priceless, a name that opens doors before you even walk through them. And once you possess that, people begin offering opportunities you no longer have to chase. Because in the end, your greatest asset isn't your bank account. It's the kind of man people believe you are. One of the greatest misunderstandings about power is believing that powerful men always stand in the spotlight. Machiavelli observed the opposite. The most influential people often move quietly. While everyone else fights for attention, they fight for position. Think about a game of chess. The amateur attacks immediately. He wants quick victories. He wants to impress. The master does something completely different. He improves his position. He controls the center. He limits his opponent's options. By the time the attack finally comes, the outcome has already been decided. Life works exactly the same way. Most men are obsessed with looking successful. The silent strategist is obsessed with becoming difficult to defeat. There's a massive difference. One seeks applause. The other seeks leverage. Imagine two entrepreneurs. The first constantly posts every new project, every meeting, every investment, every goal, every victory. He wants the world to know he's building something. The second says almost nothing. He works. He studies. He improves. Months later, the first man is still talking about what he's going to build. The second quietly launches a business that's already profitable. Who truly had the advantage? Machiavelli warned that unnecessary visibility creates unnecessary resistance. The more people know about your next move, the more opinions, criticism, competition, and interference you attract. The silent strategist understands something most ambitious men never do. Privacy is not weakness. Privacy is protection. Not every victory needs an audience. Not every plan deserves an announcement. Some of the greatest opportunities in life grow best in silence. Because silence allows preparation. Preparation creates confidence. And confidence removes the need for validation. Notice how secure people rarely argue online. rarely explain themselves endlessly, rarely feel the need to prove strangers wrong. Their energy is invested somewhere else, in building, in learning, in positioning themselves for the future. Machiavelli admired men who controlled perception without becoming prisoners of it. That's the difference. Control how you're perceived, but never become addicted to being seen. Because the moment your image becomes more important than your mission begins to die. The silent strategist would rather surprise the world with results than entertain it with promises. He knows something history has proven over and over again. The loudest man in the room is rarely the one holding the most power. True influence moves quietly, and by the time people notice it, it's already too late to stop it. Every empire eventually faces a storm, a financial crisis, a betrayal, a public failure, an unexpected loss. The question isn't whether adversity will come. It will. The real question is, what have you built that can survive it? Most men build lives that depend on favorable circumstances. As long as everything goes well, they feel confident. As long as people approve of them, they feel secure. As long as money keeps coming, they feel powerful. But Machiavelli warned against building your future on things you cannot control. Because sooner or later, circumstances change, markets collapse, relationships end, friends disappear, power shifts. The men who survive aren't always the strongest. They're the most adaptable. The silent strategist never places all his confidence in one source. Not one income, not one relationship, not one opportunity, not one person's approval. He builds multiple foundations: knowledge, discipline, reputation, patience, emotional control, strategic thinking. These are assets that no recession can steal, no competitor can copy, no enemy can easily destroy. Imagine two kings. One builds magnificent walls around his kingdom. The other builds wise advisors, loyal soldiers, food reserves, hidden escape routes, strong alliances, and a population that willingly protects the kingdom. Which empire survives longer? The answer is obvious. Because strength isn't what people see. Strength is everything you've prepared for that nobody knows exists. This is why Machiavelli valued foresight above confidence. Hope is not a strategy. Preparation is. The silent strategist spends less time asking, "What if everything works?" and far more time asking, "If everything goes wrong, will I still stand?" That question changes every decision. It makes you invest differently, trust differently, plan differently, live differently, because the goal isn't simply becoming successful. The goal is becoming impossible to destroy. If today's video changed the way you think, imagine what 7 weeks of focused psychological training could do. Everything you've learned today comes from principles that are explored in far greater depth inside the Dark Mind Protocol. The truth is, most men don't lose because they lack intelligence. They lose because nobody ever taught them how power really works. They learn through betrayal, through humiliation, through expensive mistakes, through years they can never get back. You don't have to. Inside the Dark Mind Protocol, you'll discover the complete system for developing strategic awareness, emotional discipline, psychological resilience, and the quiet confidence that ambitious men need to protect everything they build. This isn't about manipulating people. It's about making sure you're never the easiest person in the room to manipulate. If you're serious about building a future that no one can easily take from you, open a first pinned comment. Your empire doesn't begin with money. It begins with a mind that knows how to protect it. Ending before you leave, I want you to write one sentence in the comments. I build with strategy, not luck. Not because I want engagement, but because the moment you write those words, you're making a decision to stop relying on chance and start relying on preparation. Read the other comments. You'll recognize something immediately. The men who build extraordinary lives rarely wait for perfect circumstances. They prepare while everyone else is hoping. Remember, fortunes can be inherited, titles can be given, power can be borrowed, but wisdom must be earned. Until next time, protect your mind, protect your future, move in silence, think 3 steps ahead, and never forget, The greatest empire you will ever build is the one no one can destroy.